Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Solo Mode. My name is James, and today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Instead of playing a video game, this is Talk to Transformer. This is a neural network that tries to predict your text and basically tries to complete sentences. It's weird, it's hard to explain, so let me just show you. Mario and Luigi were taking a stroll through the Mushroom Kingdom. Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, yay, Luigi? Said Mario. So let's see what happens if I do this. Mario and Luigi were taking a stroll through the Mushroom Kingdom. Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti. This is how they ended up in the Mushroom Kingdom again. We're back in the Mushroom Kingdom, just in time for Pokemon Fan Fest. Where each day has something different to offer. Take your friends home from the park, or give them something to do. There's so much to choose from. Our first stop is the Hall of Fame Museum. There you can find out all your friends' Pokemon and collect items to use them in the story mode, as well as the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. The Hall of Fame Museum is open during the fan festival hours. What the fuck is this? Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti. The two were happy after they passed through Peach's mansion. In other language, that's it. That was the whole thing. Okay, let's try something else. Okay. So, here is my Smash Brothers fan fiction. I've let my guard down, said Sonic. That sounded like Snake. I let my guard down, said Sonic, gasping for air. How did it come to this? He looked over his shoulder. Before him stood the tall, silhouetted figure of Palutena. You cannot defeat me with moves like that, she beckoned. No, I can't lose. The game ends here. She raised her wand. Sonic threw it into the air and it shattered into tiny pieces, forming little circles. He raised the sword again. He has a sword, apparently. And this time the blade pierced through the sky. Peline, he said in rage. Palina! The sword hit the ground like a ton of bricks, and the little moon fell down like a giant flower. What? What the fuck? What is Pelin? Third person plural present. What? Okay, I guess we're just making up words now. Colonel, I've successfully infiltrated Shadow Moses Island, said Snake from within the confines of his cardboard box. Good work, Snake, said Colonel Campbell. This is a sneaking mission. Make sure nobody sees you. Danalot's house. Danalot. March 5th, 2005. The moment his friends returned from the park, Danalot was greeted by his wife, Amy. Hi, Danalot, how are you? Danalot replied. What? As Danalot walked in his door, Amy said, Dan is so sad today. He really misses you, and he wants to tell you. Danalot replied, okay, he can tell me all he wants about you, and everything's alright, but I'm afraid I'm sorry. Nothing happened today, except a couple of bad calls you make. We heard nothing from either of them, except to say, what the fuck? Who is Danalot? Is there a picture of Danalot? Apparently that's Danalot. Okay. Does Bruno Mars is gay? No, I think he likes boys. I'm sure he likes boys. A lot of them too. But he has his differences in some things I think that aren't gay. What inspired you to become gay as a child? I didn't know anything about it when I was 8 years old. I knew someone who was in love and had 2 kids, and I would come home and tell them what I thought and what they thought, and they said to me, what are you talking about? And I said, oh, it's just what I feel like, and my brother got up and he said, oh, well, what about this? And I said, the answer is it's nothing. There's nothing gay in it. Oh, there's more. And you're still in love with someone? I love people, not the same people. Sometimes you just have an awful lot of people who can't get the same reaction as themselves, but I don't feel that I have to put up with anything too much. It doesn't bother me much. I like to enjoy living with people, and I don't. So that answers the question. Does Bruno Mars? Okay. This is gonna be a good one. It actually did it. I think this is the coffee pasta. Okay, what if we just do the first sentence? What the fuck did you just fucking say about me, you little bitch? Like, I could make no sound, but I could feel my neck bulging as I let out a low whistle. Her eyes widened as she saw me coming, just as I thought she would if I did something to her. The sound of my breathing in her ear made my whole body shake as I turned to meet her gaze. It wasn't because of anger or lust. She just had a hard time letting go of what she had just seen. I could feel that her heart nearly jumped out of her chest, not only because of what I just said, but also because she was so confused by the whole thing that she hadn't heard it myself. Still, she didn't let up, and without missing a beat, I took her by the arm and pulled her towards me. What the fuck? I don't even know where this goes. I don't even want to know. That took a completely different turn. I have a better idea. Okay, here is our own creepypasta. My eyes widened as Waluigi turned to me. It was as if he was looking right at me through the TV screen. His eyes started to bleed hyper-realistic blood. "Playtime's over," he said to me. I could tell this was no ordinary game of Mario Tennis. Not by my own admission, of course, but it felt that way to this boy who was so focused on his game and not looking at me in the slightest. His eyes seemed to have gotten a bit too big. His pupils were starting to darken. Just how big was it? My lips slowly curved into a smile. "What do you think?" "What do you think?" he asked. I thought it was really big. I couldn't hold back the excitement of it, though. I looked at the screen now. "Hey, can I see your hand too?" he said. I felt his hand slowly touch mine. I opened my eyes and it was struck by his hand as if I didn't know him very well. I turned to look at him and said, "Oh my god," I cried out as I saw his hand again and suddenly his arm had gone. Is Waluigi coming out of the TV? Let me do another one. Instead, I was in a movie. Wait a minute. I could tell this was no ordinary game of Mario Tennis. Instead, I was in a movie. I had been playing the same game for hours, and the movie seemed to have been shot in 3D. And while I was in the movie, Waluigi's eyes seemed like they were moving, but all I could have had were some pretty blurry pictures. There's no point in playing this crazy game for this long. "Get off me," Waluigi yelled. "I need a vacation to the beach city." What's the beach city? When I told Waluigi to stop yelling, he jumped off the couch and sprinted to the toilet before I could reply. "What? This isn't a vacation. We all make fun of you for the stupid game you made," he called. "Now let me go into my vacation room." No, of course not. Beach City? You know what? The trailer for Star Wars Episode 9 just came out. And I think if we use Talk to Transformer, maybe we can get the plot to Episode 9. Maybe we can leak the plot to Episode 9. So how does Episode 8 end? Let's start there. Alright, so this is the beginning of Episode 9. This is a world premiere. The young orphan willed the broomstick to his hand, as if he commanded it to. I meant to put the word "if" there. He looks up to the sky, sensing something was wrong. Suddenly, a wave of stormtroopers forced their way into the stables. The young boy knew, at this moment, he had no other choice but to fight. So the boy stepped back. A few seconds later, the stormtrooper came charging at him with the broom. Again. Stormtrooper has the broom? This time bringing his own sword. The young boy had no choice but to dodge and fight back as the stormtrooper slammed the blade down, sending waves of wind toward the young boy, who jumped into the air right before the stormtrooper smashed it to smithereens. The young boy barely saw the stormtrooper as it smashed into his nose, which had come off with another blow. it fell on him. The young boy didn't even notice as he landed hard on his back and face. He gasped for breath. His hands were frozen as his hair came back. Whoa, this is a crazy opening. Like, so imagine the text crawl at the beginning of Star Wars, and it just cuts to this boy, and suddenly, like, stormtroopers just bust in. One of them has a sword, not a lightsaber, a medieval-ass sword. Can you imagine if that was the opening to the movie? What happens if we generate... Well, what happens if we take the last few sentences? Let's continue the story. The young boy didn't even notice as he landed hard on his back and face. He gasped for breath. His hands were frozen as his hair came back, as though it had come back on its own at some time. His face became red as it began to feel warm to the touch. His hair was pulled back to the corner of his mouth as his head began to hurt painfully. He's a young man now. He suddenly aged. The young man fell to the ground, crying out in absolute disbelief. When he looked, he was surrounded by corpses. He could see their bodies in the forest. Holy shit. It was the bloodiest death he had seen in a long time. This kid just got warped to like another dimension. Suddenly his head felt like it was pinning onto his skull. He could feel blood dripping down his back as though his entire body was wrapped around his skull. His eyes were staring blankly at nothing for hours. He did not want to move or even look at anyone. His breathing was labored and his pain started to kill him again. Holy Now imagine the stormtrooper hits him so hard, he gets sent to like another planet. He gets sent to a forest full of corpses. And like, what an insane beginning to episode 9 is going to be crazy. I can't wait. What if we do one more? He did not want to move or even look at anyone. His breathing was labored, and the pain started to kill him again. The guards who had saw all of this were all about to pull out their lights and call for help again, when suddenly he was out of breath. He started to feel his legs start to weaken and his feet weaken, so he called for the doctor. The doctor was talking to Dr. Tully. This is a new character, and Dr. Tully said that this was a very, very terrible injury. They did not know what to do, so all they did was ask him if he was sure he could run on his own. Just as he was getting his answer, suddenly the guard came running and asked him, in the same breath as Dr. Tully, if he could run on his own. I guess it's just their natural instinct to want to hurt others. I guess it's just because there's somebody right there with them. What the... Once the doctors had come back to check on him, one of the guards said, "Why, Don? Who's Don?" Who's Dr. Tully? Let's see if we can get a picture of this brand new Star Wars character. That's Dr. Tully. He's just, I don't know what I expected. He's just a doctor. Samus set foot on the mysterious new planet. She looked around, trying to find some sort of clue as to where she had landed. Suddenly, before her eyes, appeared a giant blue crystal in front of her, with a dark violet star. Maybe it's Phazon. She turned her head and found herself looking right into the face of the alien. The alien was so beautiful, she murmured. She had no idea how she had just done it. She was pretty sure the whole thing was a fake. The alien held its hand out towards her, and with one motion was gone. And the rest of Metroid Prime 3 could be forgiven for being a complete non sequitur. Metroid Prime 4 felt like everything was coming through the screen, like it was an onion. What the fuck? I love when the alien shows up and Samus is like, so beautiful. Let's do this. So let's say the story ends here. The alien held its hand out towards her, and the motion was gone. Let's see where it goes from there. The alien was so beautiful, she murmured. She had no idea how she had just done it. She was pretty sure the whole thing was a fake. The alien held its hand out towards her, and with one motion was gone. She took a quick look around the small cabin he'd been in before turning back to face him and making her way deeper into the space behind them. They're in a cabin, apparently. The alien was almost too big to see through, despite her best efforts. Oh yeah, I thought you were going to say some serious nonsense just after we got there. No way I thought this sort of nonsense would just come natural for you, he chuckled. Maybe something to do with your alien body? No, not really. You know what you can expect to find. I think some pretty weird stuff. What sort of weird stuff? A bunch of things, actually. Harry's voice dropped slightly. Chapter 5. Whoa, wait a minute. Who's Harry? Chapter 5. We're really just thrown in the middle of a story here. Mr. President, shouted one of the reporters, what do you have to say about the allegations? You mean the Chaos Emeralds, chuckled Obama. You're talking about the Chaos Emeralds, correct? No, shouted the second reporter. The Chaos Emeralds are not the symbol of the Chaos Cult. Oh, said Obama. You're correct, but since this is America, we don't talk about symbols. They're symbols, and we're going to need a symbol, shouted another reporter. How about the Golden Fleece? No. The Golden Fleece is the symbol of the national anthem. The others looked at each other for confirmation. Well, now it's time for the next item. With that, the room was lit up in a golden glow. Now for the most iconic piece of music in history, the president said with a faint chuckle before returning to the topic at hand. If you'll excuse me, I'm going, what is the most iconic piece of music? I need to know. Now, for the most iconic piece of music in history, the president said with a faint chuckle before returning to the topic at hand. If you excuse me, I'm going to my car, Mr. Obama then added. President Obama took the stage for his final State of the Union address in Washington, D.C. What an exit. I just love, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to my car. He just leaves the stage, just drives away. Obama pulled out the Chaos Emeralds from a briefcase that he had with him. For decades, the Chaos Emerald's power had been a mystery to man, but today, I will show you a demonstration of their power. Obama, now with all 8 emeralds in hand, began to glow a faint yellow. His hair turned blonde, and his muscles began to bulge. A purple aura surrounded his entire body, almost threatening to engulf his entire being. But first, you'll need to know this. If he finds out you found an emerald in his briefcase, it began to dawn on him as the darkness consumed his being. His existence would soon become meaningless. Obama reached into his briefcase and pulled out his last Chaos Emerald. This is your chance to escape the trap, just as you thought. All you will have to do is put your head through a window and you'll be free. Obama then began to slowly pull the emerald in his hand, leaving it. Hold on, let me see where this goes. This is great. This one's great. I really like this one. There is only one thing to do. You can leave, but first you must try. There is no escaping from these tunnels. Obama pulled out a gun and began shooting. After about 15 shots were fired, it was apparent how much Obama had grown, but not enough that many people were injured. After some time in the hospital, Obama's friend Carl Sagan was able to see what was going on with the president. Whoa. This is insane. The White House said that Sagan gave an interview when Obama died. Oh no! And revealed how much he understood about the president being shot. From Wikipedia. Okay. This is a Wikipedia article. After a long absence, he appeared in the White House press room to talk about the shooting. President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama, as well as President Barack Obama, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, Congressman Gabby Giffords, and Senator Claire McCaskill joined the other survivors. Families of the children and families of the victims in the Rose Garden for the president's remarks. Sagan told reporters that it just occurred to him and he saw a person lying on the grassy lot near the front of the White House. What the fuck? President Obama, First Lady Michelle Obama, as well as President Barack Obama, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt. There's 2 Obamas. That was the best one yet. I don't know if we can top that one. Oh, that was amazing. Where do we go from here? Here's a look at the next Zelda game. Link unsheathed the Master Sword and pointed it towards Ganon's direction. "These toys are too much for you, boy," Ganon stammered, catching his breath. "You will release them to me." "You said that last time. I am not going off-chain with you, Ganon," said Hyrule Girl, as Ganon's heart beat faster and faster. "I mean, you don't need to do this. I can do it myself." And it was true. Hyrule Girl had just taken on Master Sword the very first time, or more likely the day after. This had been no easy feat, and her Master Sword and the sword that she used to destroy Ganondorf had both become parts of her now, as well as her body. Hyrule Girl wouldn't even need a sword again. What the hell was she thinking? A sword could easily be destroyed by Hyrule Girl, who had never actually needed one. It was impossible. If it was anything but her, she would die at any moment. Okay, so in the new Zelda game, Link's a girl, but not just any girl. She's Hyrule Girl. Yeah, Linkle. That's Hyrule Girl. Let's generate another. "These toys are too much for you, boy. You will release them to me." He charged. "You cannot do this," he growled. Ganon raised the Master Sword to shield himself. Somehow he has the sword now. And once again, Zelda caught the blow. With the momentum of her own momentum, Link dropped forward, but Zelda was already on his horse. Link had to use his sword to deflect the attack. "Get it?" Ganon grunted and grabbed Link by the wrist before charging again. "Geez, Zelda, I'm going on." "Geez? Is that a person?" "Geez, Zelda, I'm going on." Ganon was still holding the Master Sword. The weapon was too heavy for him. When Link's sword landed near his stomach, Ganon began pushing the cart ahead. "I'm going to give this up. I'm going to fight you," he said. "Go ahead," Link responded lightly. Ganon was far too quick. That's actually a pretty interesting concept. What if Ganon had the Master Sword? That's never been done before. And I'm surprised that's never been done before. But I got a question. Who's Geese? It's a goose. Gee, it sure is boring around here. My boy, this peace is what all warriors strive for. I just wonder what Ganon's up to. Yes, I'm sure to tell him what you think, but I need your help with something, Link. Hey! Yes, your father's bodyguard, Ebbet. He's my trusted aide and partner. Hey Ebbet, you remember us? Yes, and you remember me? I'm the one who took down Ganon, just look at me. Huh? What could that possibly mean? And when he is defeated by Link, the scene is the same. He reveals his secret to Link in the Temple of Time, which then sets off a sequence of scenes that leads to the final scene. If you were to play the game on normal or hard difficulty, you would see several of the characters and scenes from the game before the story actually begins. Huh. So a while back on Mystery Box, we did a video on Miiverse. This was back when Miiverse still existed. And we kind of made our own story, if you remember. So, where did we end? Part 19? Okay. So, that's be part 20. Okay. So, we're finally going to get a conclusion to our Miiverse story. If you haven't seen our Miiverse video, please check it out. This probably won't make any sense if you haven't seen the video. And this probably won't make any sense even if you have seen the video. Part 20. Mike's screams could be heard around the globe. The Demon King's power began to fade as the Clock Master was reawoken from his slumber. Time's up, he bellowed. It did not matter if the Clock Master believed it was time for time, or if it would come in time. In his confusion, the Demon King lost sight of the young boy, and the boy's sword was drawn. The young man screamed for his father, then he ran from the Clockmaster while screaming for mercy. Part 9. Alright, we're going back in time. The young boy's final moments before he died were long and painful. He did not want to die. He asked for someone else's life. He did not want to die. He asked that someone... What? He asked that someone else live. To die was his purpose. The world. So he made it clear to everyone, including himself, his purpose. If he died, it was over. He was ready to die. Does anything happen in that paragraph? Maggie's blood began to pour from the wounds on his hands. What the fuck? I'm left with more questions than answers. Time's up, he bellowed. August 9th, 1998, Part 5. Timeline, AD, 1502. Time is running out on Earth. The time machine has been repaired, but the evil Clockmaster remains at large. He must be detected through time travel. The disagreeer. Time itself began to change with the arrival of the Demon King's time machine, allowing the Clockmaster to predict his next movements. Only to have the time machine explode in his hand. The proof. The Clockmaster is caught by a mysterious stranger who tells him that his actions have destroyed the time machine. What the fool doesn't realize is that he was in fact saving humanity from their impending doom, and was actually saving us. The Dispins. After destroying the time machine, the madman is driven mad. Alright. This is the canonical ending. This is the real one. And then I'm done. Part 20. Mike's screams could be heard around the globe. The Demon King's power began to fade as the Clockmaster was reawoken from his slumber. Time's up, he bellowed. He turned around at last, revealing that the Demon King was gone. No more Demon King of Time. His soul was no more. His last act was to end all life as it currently existed, including God incarnate. The clock and the other beings in it were gone as well. As he passed through the entrance, he was met by the Demon King and his army. Now what? The Demon King questioned. Now what? He roared. The clock did not come tumbling down as the army of demons, in an uncharacteristically frenzied assault, smashed it to bits as it rolled past the city. They were unable to stop the clock, and after the army was defeated, it was discovered that the time it had been running at had begun its fallback. Time started slowing as time froze before his eyes. What an ending. Thank you all for watching another episode of Solo Mode. My name is James. If you like this video, please subscribe and leave a like. I think I have the best video on Solo Mode, which means you're going to enjoy some of the video for a while. And it's pretty neat to have a guide with video and screenshots like this. For once, I don't care how good your video is because you're actually having fun with Solo Mode. I think you should leave that to me. Thanks.